everyone, welcome back to my channel. I am Brushes and Bunnies, and in this video I'm going to be sharing with you some of my top tips on how to improve as an artist. Now these tips are meant for artists, but they do also apply to those that have creative hobbies and or creative projects. In my case, I am juggling not only like painting and drawing, but also writing a book or a book series, and this has been like kind of difficult to juggle both of these topics because they are pretty big topics and both of them are different in a way. But I think that these tips that I'm going to provide you in this video does help to kind of maintain a schedule and a rhythm and kind of accelerates or pushes you into continuing or just like progressing with your projects. So I have written down all 7 tips here on this post-it note, and we're going to go through each one of them one by one, and hopefully it's going to help you kind of see a perspective into my world, and also yeah, maybe it's going to give you an idea on how you can maybe add this to your schedule and how to improve yourself as not only a person but also as an artist. Also, given the circumstances that we're in, I think that this does apply to kind of the whole work-life balance situation. Like, how do you differentiate between working on art and or doing your work from home? If you guys have part-time jobs or full-time jobs and you're working from home, how do you kind of like juggle both of them at the same time? Without further ado, let us get started. If you're anything like me, you're probably going to end up with a super messy room, and what you're seeing on screen right now is not even the worst of it. This is actually kind of like the cleaned up version of it. I cannot stress how important it is to keep your desk clean, especially the area that you do most of your art in. I think that over time you don't actually realize things just pile up. There's a bunch of random art supplies, there's coffee cups, there's just random papers everywhere. Somehow you have half a pharmacy on your desk. I don't even know. Things just appear and you're kind of like, you start to like clutter yourself in. And for me, it's something that I don't mind necessarily, but I realize that once everything is cleaned up, afterwards I feel so much better, and I actually feel like I have more energy or more like space to think and to create art. So the first tip from me to you is clean up your space, clean up your room, your art studio, your desk, wherever you do your creative hobbies. Just make it clean and actually try to make it into kind of like a schedule where you clean up first thing in the morning before you get started on any creative project. Something that helps to keep the motivation high is to surround yourself with things that inspire you. This can be things like objects, colors, photographs, textures, basically anything. If something provides you with a source of inspiration, then keep it in your room or keep it in an area where you can see it. From my side, things that usually trigger a creative response are things like plants, books, 19th century antiques, and objects that are a little bit more on the macabre side. I don't really know why that is, but one look at some of the old things that I have in my room and they will evoke certain feelings, emotions, and from that point on, I feel like creating something either through written art or through visual art. Tip number 3 is to use your favorite art supplies. This tip is a little bit of a tricky one, and I really want to emphasize that I'm not talking about using your favorite art supplies all day, every day for the rest of your life, because that's a little bit silly. I mean, you can do that, but at the same time, it is important to try other things and explore other mediums and basically allow yourself to grow in other aspects of art. In this case, what I'm talking about is if you're starting off your day with a sketch, you want to establish a sketching routine, you want to get better as an artist. I think usually sketching is a pretty good option for that. Something I like to do is start off my day with my sketchbook and my favorite pencils. I feel like I tend to draw a lot better in that regards because I'm familiar with the pencils that I'm using, and I'm also familiar with the paper, and just the entire process is something that is very familiar to me, and I can whip out a few sketches really quickly and basically just start my day with that kind of practice. For me, this is super important. Actually, I think it's part of the process of becoming a great artist is to allow yourself time to have fun with supplies that are familiar to you or some of your favorite supplies, because in that case, you don't necessarily have that added pressure of trying a new medium. You don't have the added pressure of maybe, oh, you're not really sure how it's going to turn out. You know 100% sure that with, your favorite pencils, you know how it's going to end up looking, and in that case, you can then focus on the overall concept work behind the sketch. Tip number 4 does play with tip number 3, and that is basically allow yourself time to actually sketch. One of the easiest mistakes that could happen when you're first starting out with art is to forget to sketch. This is definitely something that I did at the beginning. I mean, I did have some sketchbooks, but I didn't really use them, and I didn't really explore the possibility of what sketching could actually bring you. It was not only until a few years later did I really see the value in sketching, and it's something that I seriously cannot stop doing now, and it's actually one of my favorite art forms. I think it's underappreciated or undervalued in a way, because everyone tends to always go to the final product and focus on the final product. I mean, yeah, sure, I get it, but at the same time, I think sketching is a beautiful art form, and it's something that is so important in your development as an artist. So for this tip, I highly recommend that you allow yourself some time to actually sit down and sketch, whether that is for 20 minutes in the morning or in the evening before bed, or whenever it suits your schedule. Put in that time and sketch in a sketchbook, on printer paper, on a post-it note, on a napkin, wherever you can sketch, do it. And yeah, I think in no time you're going to realize that it's actually helping you improve yourself as an artist. Tip number 5 is to listen to music. This kind of goes with tip number 2 about finding inspiration or surrounding yourself with inspiration. I find that music does a really great job at enhancing this inspiring feeling or this inspirational feeling. To be honest with you, I'm not the type of person to listen to music for the beat or even the rhythm. I'm more so listening to the words and the kind of conceptual meaning behind these words. This tends to really help kind of like boost certain ideas in my head and to kind of feel that emotion behind it. And that's actually a lot of the times that's what drives my personal writing, and also some of the art that I create is because of the music that I listen to. When creating art, I do also tend to watch TV at the same time, or YouTube videos, but actually I have to be honest, I feel like the times that I listen to music while doing something creative, I tend to get a better outcome than if I was watching like 90 Day Fiancé, for example. I don't know, I guess it's just because I'm feeling the emotion and it's coming through, and it kind of like translates a little bit better than if I was watching some trashy TV or some random YouTube video. So yeah, definitely listen to music, try it out, put on your favorite beats, and paint away. Tip number 6 is all about pushing through whatever you're doing. In this case, what I mean is when it comes to art, sometimes when I'm sketching or working on a piece, I want to give up. I just want to stop, and I'm like, oh, this is not turning out the way I like it. It looks awful. I'll need to restart. But in most cases, that is just because you're halfway through the process of finishing the actual piece, and the final result will tend to look a lot different than the in-between part. Take this sketch, for example. At the beginning of it, it kind of had a rough start and I didn't know which direction it was going into. I wanted to try something a bit different and incorporate hands, which is something that I don't typically sketch and I definitely need to practice. And I decided just to take this reference photo I found on Pinterest, which I will provide the link down below so you can view it if you want. But I took this reference photo and I was like, okay, you know what? This time I'm going to try something different and we're just going to go at it and see what ends up happening. And I'm really happy I pushed on through because I was really ready to give up and basically start a new sketch and film something completely different. But I persisted and I pushed on and I tried to fix it or make it better and just kind of, saw where it went. No matter if it's good or if it's bad, I'm a strong advocate in finishing what you start, and in most cases you will learn something out of it. The very last tip is so important, and that is to remember to take your breaks. I am notorious for forgetting this. I tend to sit at my desk and I will work away. Hours will slip by, and before I knew it, like I've been sitting for a few hours and I have a backache, I have a shoulder ache, my legs are stiff, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I tend to start to like not feel so great. And then I realized, oh, okay, well, you actually didn't stand up at all or stretched, and it's kind of your fault. So yeah, it is my fault, and it's something that I've been actively trying to work on. Basically, while you're sitting at your desk, remember to stand up. That's like the first step. Just remember to stand up and do some stretches. The next step would then be to kind of incorporate a fitness sort of routine within your actual art hobby or your creative hobby. There are two main things that I have incorporated within my routine that actually help me to take breaks, and some really good healthy breaks, while I'm drawing and or writing. The first is that I did buy myself a fitness watch. It's been really great to remind me every hour to basically take a break. I get a message on my watch, it vibrates, and I'm like, oh, okay, I've been sitting for an hour, time to get up and stretch or to walk around. The watch also has a lot of fitness modes, so I can set it to a certain kind of exercise and basically track everything to do with that, my heartbeat, the calories burned, the kind of like fitness intensity. There's all kinds of stuff that is involved with this technology, but it does help me kind of track my progress and also ensure that I'm taking a proper healthy kind of break. And this basically ties into point number 2 that I tend to do in my schedule, is after a few hours of sitting down of creative writing and or drawing, I will get up and I will not only stretch or walk around, but I will also fit in a workout routine. There's a lovely website by the name of darebee.com. I will put the link down below in the video description, and they have all kinds of challenges and workout programs and just regular daily workouts that you can do. And this is something that I've been following for a few months now, I would say, and I'm totally loving it. It's definitely a nice needed break to be done in between of my creative hobbies, and once I do it, I feel so much better. I have more energy and I feel fit to go back to whatever I'm doing. So yeah, I would definitely recommend trying this out. Just in general, it really helps your overall life and well-being. Those are my 7 tips on how you can better yourself as an artist. I hope you did enjoy them. I do have a lot more, and maybe I could do a second video, not so sure. But in the meantime, don't forget to subscribe to this YouTube channel and check out my social media links down below in the video description for more information. I would like to wish you all a happy weekend. It is Sunday, happy weekend, and a good start to the new week. I will see you next week. Bye!